Hello, this is Goku for the someone.
The amazing CJB.
Man from Tomorrow 79.
Robert.
Yes. And we're here to talk a game that none of us, I think, have played. Have you ever played the game, CJB?
No. I think
This game called Metal Gear what? Metal Gear...
Patman?
Solid.
Patman.
Metal Gear Gas! It's Metal Gear Gas, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're here to talk a little bit about Metal Gear Solid. We're not going to get into heavy spoilers, so if you've never played the game and you want to know why you should play the game, well, yeah, we're going to spoil some things. We're not going to get into any heavy spoilers. There will be minor spoilers due to the fact that we'll be talking about sequels of the game, and we're going to be talking about the future of the franchise a little bit. Nothing too spoilers there either, and we'll be talking about a film and why they need to make a film. Let's start there. Do you guys think they need to make a film?
Yes.
Well, yes.
I don't want Christopher Nolan to direct it.
I completely agree with you.
Who would you have direct the film?
Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Wait, but you just said you don't want. Did you say you do or you don't want?
I completely agree.
He completely agrees with me.
Yes, that means that I would like Christopher Nolan to direct the movie.
Okay. And he's British as well. I'm joking.
Just no Michael Bay, please.
Well, there would be pretty explosions.
Yeah, you can see Metal Gear Rex like getting blown up.
I know some people want David Hayter to direct.
Yeah.
Like, I've not seen any of his movies. He is a director, but I don't want him to play Solid Snake in the movie. I'm sorry.
It could be produced with Kojima, and you could have Christopher Nolan on board as the director.
I'd be happy.
Like, I don't mind being a producer, but...
Yeah. David Hayter could have a cameo in it.
No, absolutely. You can have him in the movie in some capacity. He could be a guard that they actually take off the mask and you see his face and go, but I mean, he's not a Hollywood actor. He's a good voice actor, and I want somebody a little bit more. I personally want the movie to do well, and so I would want a little bit more star power to be the main character. You can have side characters be less, but I would want Solid Snake or Big Boss, whoever you're using as the main character, to be a little bit more star powered. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we was discussing about this yesterday. We could have like 3 routes. Like you could go with Metal Gear Solid 3, which is a prequel to the whole franchise. Could have Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid. So, I will start with Metal Gear Solid first because that's the most like where we hit it in the series. So.
I don't know. I kind of see going with Metal Gear first.
Yeah.
Have all of you played Metal Gear or no?
Yes.
A bit of it, yeah. I know the storyline to it though, so.
I've gotten more than halfway through the game, but didn't beat it.
Yeah. I hope Kojima remakes it.
Yes, I do. I do hope that I do hope a remake is in the works. So where do we want to expand upon that? We've talked about the film a little bit.
What's your favourite Metal Gear game?
Mine would be Metal Gear Solid 2.
I think mine is 3.
Snake Eater, yeah, mine is Snake Eater, my favourite. I think Snake Eater's got the best gameplay. So, I mean the best story. Sorry. So.
Yeah. What's yours, Robert?
I would say out of all of them, I'm not sure. I really liked 1 and 3. Well, Twin Snakes at least version of 1.
Yeah, because Twin Snakes had the same engine as Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah.
Yeah. For Twin Snakes over the first one because I think it looks better. It looks like the second one, and it gives you a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more control. Like you can move. you can move bodies around and stuff like that. Like, I'm still disappointed that it didn't come in the collection.
I heard that's going to be remade again.
Yeah, there's rumors, talk that Kojima wants to remake it. 1 and 2.
Again, fuck.
Well, I'm hoping that he's talking about Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah. He would have to do that.
Oh, that'd be
Because
interesting.
those could be remade. They are very beatable games, but they are older games, and I think those should be remade.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, go back to the film. What would your casting choices would be for Snake? Solid Snake. Personally, I'll go with Carl Urban, who played as Dredd. So
I go
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman all day long.
Carl Urban. Now, for writing, I wouldn't mind them having David Hayter be the writer.
I only want one writer for the movie, and he better be majorly involved. I want the outline / plot to be written by one guy, and if it's not written by this one person, I'm less interested in the movie.
yeah.
Hiro Kojima.
Yeah, he should do the script.
Yeah, it's like either him or David Hayter, and I would be happy.
Yet again, I don't know what David. Like, I'm not a David Hayter hater. Ironically,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's done professionally to make me convinced that he could write this movie.
Well, for one thing, he's written Watchmen, and that film I heard was like 90% accurate or faithful to the source material. Only one tiny little thing was different about it. The other is that he's besides Kojima, he's the only other person that knows the most about the series.
Okay, that I don't believe. There are fans that grew up with the series that can that know probably a whole lot more than both of them combined. Because just because you wrote something doesn't mean you know the most about it. And trust me, I don't think he knows the most. Just because he's been involved since the beginning doesn't necessarily mean he knows the most.
He's beaten all the games hundreds of times over. And he
Hundreds of times over?
Yeah, like several times over. I don't know the exact number, but he's beaten every single game. He even took a cut from his pay in order to bring the entire cast back for one of the games.
That doesn't mean that he knows. Like, there are fans out there that are now professional writers in Hollywood that probably know more than he does. Like, we're talking about a series that's been around for a very, very long time. There are fans that probably know a lot more than he does. That are professional writers. I mean, like, let's look at who's in Hollywood who's a hardcore fan.
Yeah, I can say that beating a game repeatedly doesn't necessarily mean that you know everything about it. I've done like speed runs of the Twin Snakes version, and I really don't remember a lot of the little subtle plot points to it, but I've been able to beat it in just a couple hours, stuff repeatedly.
Look at that photo, guys. I'll just find the link. Carl Urban looks like Snake, man.
You could pass, yeah.
I'd either pick Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, or Carl Urban as Solid Snake. Then my three choices.
The guy who I want to be Big Boss if they go that route is Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Because the character was based on a character Kurt Russell played, so let's go full circle here.
Snake Plissken from Escape from New York.
Snake. Snake!
For an older Big Boss, I'll go with Sean Connery.
No, for an older Big Boss, I think Kurt Russell would be perfect.
Is he the same guy you wanted him as Guile?
Yes, but I wanted him as Guile when the movie came out because I think he will just like Guile. Do you disagree?
What, in the 90s?
Yeah, in 1994, I can show you a picture where he's virtually dressed up as Guile. Like, he has, like, literally, you could take him off the set of the movie he was filming and put him in this movie, and he could play Guile. And do you disagree, CJB?
I like the choice. He looks like a general.
For old Snake, but I mean, an old Big Boss. But what about a young Big Boss?
Yet again, you would cast the same person as you would cast for Solid Snake.
Okay.
Yet again, we're back to not Kurt Russell. Sorry. We're back to Carl Urban or
Christian. I was saying Christian Bale. That's a good choice.
Yeah, we're back to one of those type people.
If Christopher Nolan was to be the director, I think he'll probably choose as Christian Bale. Because they did the Dark together in it, so...
Not necessarily. I mean, he will... There are people that I know for a fact will be in the movie. I have a feeling that if he was to direct it... oh, crud. Who's the old man again? I forgot his name. Roy
Campbell.
Yeah, Roy Campbell. I think Roy Campbell would be played by... oh, crud. Why can't I remember any names today?
The perfect guy for Roy Campbell was the guy in Rambo.
What, Stallone?
No, the Colonel.
Oh, that guy. But wait,
yeah.
He's dead.
I know, yeah, it's a shame, man. He would have been a perfect choice, man.
But if he was to direct it, I can tell you who would be Roy Campbell. I have a feeling he would. I have a feeling he would cast Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Just because he's in everything he does, and I think that guy, like, he doesn't look like Roy Campbell exactly, but I think he could play Roy Campbell. And I don't see any other character he could play, and you know, if he directs the movie, Michael Caine's going to be in the movie.
What about Liam Neeson?
He could pass for Roy Campbell, I believe.
Liam Neeson probably good.
I mean, he's got that scruffy voice there.
Who would you cast as Liquid Snake?
Oh God, that's tough, man.
Well, isn't he another clone anyway?
They've got to be identical, and Nixon twins, isn't it? So.
I would actually cast two different people. What were you gonna say, Robert?
I was saying, if they're all clones anyway, you could just have same guy play all three. You know, Solid, Liquid, and Big Boss.
They look different in the game, kind of, so I'd actually cast differently for Liquid and Solid.
Yeah.
The only difference I recall is Liquid being more muscular and having the blonde hair.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I think you could get away with casting a different actor that's similar. Like who? Yeah.
Yeah, because if you cast the same actor, then wouldn't you have to up their pay for
Not
doing
necessarily.
You would have to do a lot of editing to, you know, put them in the same scenes, but there's been plenty of movies that have done that already.
And
there's one here with Chris Hemsworth as plays as 4.
So what, you think Chris Hemsworth could have a role in the movie?
No, just looking at these casting choices, like my fans, and one of them is Chris Hemsworth who plays Thor.
Who would play Meryl in the movie?
I have no idea. One person, one casting choice is Emma Stone. I don't necessarily see it, but... Anybody got a casting choice for Revolver Ocelot? Older Revolver Ocelot?
Let me think. Is it David Sutherland? Who's Keith Sutherland's father?
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, Donald.
Yeah.
You think he could Pass?
Oh, yeah, he's in Hunger Games, isn't he? Professor Snow.
That's who I'd pick.
You know, what about someone that's already been in like some kind of Western movies or something? You know, I imagine what is it like?
Oh shit! What about Clint Eastwood as Oscar?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I was actually gonna say. Clint Eastwood would do a badass job of it.
Perfect. What do you think of that, Mark?
What?
Clint Eastwood as Ocelot.
I could see it.
Yeah, because he's been in Westerns, hasn't he?
Clint Eastwood can do anything, so.
Well,
what can't he do? That's the question.
I said he can do everything, so.
I know.
Suck at it.
Yeah, I was saying, what can't he do? Yeah, that's the
well,
question.
I think I already answered that question, did I not?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, obviously he can't play female characters. I don't think he could do that very well. But anything that he's the right age and looks enough like it, he could do.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm wondering like how many characters, if it's like which game would this be based on though? Because you know, I imagine that if it was brought into a movie, that you'd have to cut out some of the characters or something.
Oh my god!
Well,
I just found a good character casting for Otto Conman. You know, the guy that played Scarecrow in Dark Knight.
Interesting one, actually. But we're basically talking about the characters you cannot cut. You can't cut Ocelot. You can't cut Liquid Snake. You can't. I hope you can't cut Solid Snake, but hey, maybe you can.
Can you cut Decoy Octopus? A bit.
You can cut some of those minor characters, but yet again, it depends on how they do the movie and what they do. Like you can have a lot of characters just know how to use them correctly.
Yeah.
Like Psycho Mantis would be a character that if you use him, he would only be in a quick scene.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sniper Wolf. She wouldn't be a major character in the movie if they went that route.
Someone says Johnny Depp should be run over Ocelot.
He's way too young.
Yeah, but he can play anybody.
But he's barbarically too young. Yeah. Like, I was seeing another one that fans had cast that I thought was too young is Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the guy's too young. That's why I didn't even mention it, because I don't think you should, like, that's a character that's going to have a fight scene in the movie, and then he's going to be a side character for the rest of the movie, so you don't need him to, you don't need to hire a guy who can do backflips to play that guy.
I was going to say, who would you cast as the Foxhound group, like Psycho Mantis and...
Yet again, a lot of those characters would be cut out, because those characters are characters you can cut out, or their roles would be very minimized. So yeah, but that depends on if they go that route. Obviously, like first of all I'm on the bandwagon of I think you should do Metal Gear. That's the one I would do.
Yeah.
Me, I would go with Metal Gear Solid 3 since it's the first game in the timeline.
Yeah, but do you think it's standalone enough to where people would understand everything that's going on? I mean...
See, I was saying to Mark yesterday, like, just do Metal Gear Solid first. You could do, like, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy like you did with Star Wars, but better.
Well, the thing is yet again, we all have an opinion on where you can start. I think those are the 3 starting spots, but I'm completely on Metal Gear as the place to start. It's where it all started, literally. And I think it has a solid enough story. And then its story is not so defined that you can actually make a better story. Like, you can craft, I think, a better story in that. But one thing I think we'll all agree, and something that Robert was mentioning earlier, is that you've speed run through this game, and these games can be beaten in a couple of hours, most of them.
Yeah, and I don't think I was, skipping through all the cutscenes all the time either, and, easily, 3 or 4 hours or something watching all the cutscenes and a little bit of goofing around. So it could be fit into a movie, I imagine. Although,
no, it actually could.
Yeah, although I guess all the action is in non-cinematic parts too, though, which I just sprinted past. So. And
there's walking around that would not be as much in the movie, because that's something that somebody once said. Captain Logan here. I don't know who actually said this, but I heard this from Captain Logan, a YouTuber. Is that or maybe he's the one that actually originated this. I'm not positive, but basically, a famous person once said that books and slash movies, for the most part, is life with all the boring parts taken out. Well, video games are life with all the boring parts put back in. And let me be very clear, he's not saying video games are boring. He's saying a lot of those aspects, like just walking down a hallway, is something you would cut out of a movie, but in a video game, you are that character, and you do walk down that hallway. You might walk down that hallway several times. And so, a lot of that stuff would be cut out if you made a movie.
Yeah, it's the interactivity, that part that makes it fun in a game, but in a movie, it would be really boring watching 10 minutes of some guy doing somersaults past guards.
Yeah, and it would be boring watching a guy walk down a hallway, not figuring out where to go, and then walk down that hallway and going, where do I have to go? That'd be boring.
Even if the player knows what to do, it could be pretty boring. You could actually, you could even use the characters, Sniper Wolf, Raven, and all that, as you can kind of, you could have their roles or whatever overlap with other plot points just to include a bit more action and keep them in the movie.
I mean, you can have them be in minor roles. I don't think you would have the entire be major roles. You could fit in most of them. If you went the Metal Gear Solid route, which I'm not against. I'm not against any of the routes. Like, if I heard tomorrow that they were making it and it's going to be based on Metal Gear Solid, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if they said they were going to, that the template was going to be Metal Gear Solid, but then they were going to basically write it in such a way that it fits better as a movie. I wouldn't be against that either.
I personally think that they might even want to make their own separate story from it, so that'll give them a bit of freedom in terms of writing, and I think that'd be less likely to piss off fans if they got an existing story wrong. That would people probably would hate that more than a made-for-movie story that was just its own thing.
Well, made-for-movie story problem is that then you're going down the Resident Evil route, in which those games or those movies are nowhere near as good as the games, and they do their own story to a certain extent, that I would rather it be loosely based on a game, and then have all the major plot points, but the middle can be whatever you want it to be.
Well, I don't mean quite like that. I don't mean like the Resident Evil where they just remade it as all their own thing. I mean more like it still fits into the Metal Gear universe correctly, but it's like a different mission, maybe one that didn't occur in a game.
Okay.
That's more what I mean. Like it's not completely its own thing. Where the Resident Evil movie, you could change the names and you wouldn't know it's Resident Evil at all.
Yeah, but yet again, I think that makes those movies better. I think the first one is actually a good movie if you're not thinking about it as a Resident Evil movie. That's my opinion on that. I think the other ones are not as good. I think the other ones, most of them are crap, but I think the first one is the exception to where it's enjoyable as a standalone movie, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot you could do. But let's go more into the games. We haven't talked about the games a lot. What was your first game? Let's everyone say their first game.
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
It was about 6 or 7.
I'm pretty sure I played Metal Gear first, but the first game I've actually beaten and got me into the series was Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And it was actually much, much later. I think I owned a PS2 when I played. I think I played Metal Gear Solid on my PS2. I'm not positive, but I do think I did.
Excuse me a moment.
But yeah.
I haven't even played Twin Snakes yet, so.
Should.
Yeah. I know
You have a GameCube? Or a Wii, I mean?
I've got a Wii, yeah.
You can play it on the Wii.
Yeah.
If you have a backwards compatible Wii.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a GameCube controller as well, so I'm alright.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that game is expensive, I think.
Yeah.
It's really rare to get as well, because every time when I go to like a game store, they don't usually have it.
Well, that's because they don't usually have, yeah. Like, it's more that the fact that they don't, yeah.
I know a place that do actually sell like old stuff like Mega Drive games and GameCube games and all that. But merchandise and everything, but...
Yeah, it's used on Amazon. It's as cheap as
eBay?
$33. US dollars, of course.
Cool.
That's not cheap.
What got you into the games, Daniel?
Well, actually, I heard about it through StormSync, and that had me going, I think I'll look into this. Try it out. So then I went down to a GameStop and picked up the first game. Then the second game.
Yeah, how long ago was this?
Maybe, 10 years ago?
Yeah. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid on PS1. I think it was out. Was it 98? I think. I was about 6 and 7 when I played that, so it was sick. It's just like, the graphics. You can't see the eyes. It's just like square graphics. It's like, what? You there, Mark?
Yeah. I think he stepped out for a minute.
Is this even still recording?
I think so.
He would have mentioned if he stopped.
Did you even like that, Robert? The okay, it was back in the day, but it was good, obviously. But the graphics, seeing Snake's eyes, they got like it was like pixel square graphics for eyes. I was like, huh?
But I mean, that game looked. If we're talking about the Metal Gear Solid, that game did look good for its time.
I know. I thought it was a bit outdated with the faces and everything.
Not for its time.
Well, I think that other games use little like tricks to make the graphics look a bit better, where that they'd have pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff in different areas. And if I remember, Metal Gear Solid had full 3D everything.
Yes, and I mean, like, if you compare it to Final Fantasy VII, that game looks better.
I guess, yeah, that's fair to say. Like, although I guess 7 had a lot more areas to explore and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it just depends on the game.
Yeah. But now they
if you're looking at Resident Evil basically did the trick you were talking about. That's why that game looks so good.
Yeah, and then another one.
It's like I remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty came out. I was like, wow, look at these graphics, man. I was like, what? When you see Snake in the rain, like with his fag and everything, just flicks it, he just runs, man, in the rain. That scene is so sick.
That is like I have a couple of my friends that tell me that demos are basically like really bad, and that's the demo I tell them. Like that demo is so amazing. I played that demo for hours upon hours upon hours. I probably got about 10 to 20 hours into that demo alone, just replaying it. It was so good.
Yeah, I think some demos do have a bad habit of leaving you hanging on purpose.
Just they're to be continued, and then, oh shit, I've got to wait for the game now.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not the problem. The problem is some demos are extremely, like, minimalist. Like, they have a very, very little there, and that can be bad.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what would be the worst demo?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I played some really, really bad demos where, like, literally you play the game for, like, 10 minutes and then the demo stops.
I think that the worst demos are the ones that are extremely fun when the game is utter crap. Like they cut the demo down to the best part of the entire 20-hour game in like 15 minutes.
But I mean, like I played a lot of like fighting game demos are the easiest one to make, and a lot of them mess up because I've played fighting game demos where you get 2 characters on one stage, and I'm like, why? Give me more characters. Give me 4 characters in 2 stages. Then I'll have fun with it. Then I'm going to play your demo, actually have fun with it, bring over a friend, have them play with me, and we're probably going to buy your game then.
Well, there isn't a whole, like fighting games are replayable, but there isn't a lot of content, so if they give you too much content in the demo, people will play it for a while, then be satisfied and move on. Like, I guess they want to leave you with something to want from the main game.
And that's why I say 2 stages and 4 characters. Like, most fighting games have at least 16 characters. That's not that many characters. I mean, at least 16 characters. Most fighting games have 20, 30, 40 characters. Like I know the Smash Brothers demo, the Super Smash Brothers demo that recently came out, that had 5 characters that were playable. 1 stage, and that kind of bugged me. I think it should have at least been 2 or 3. But it had 5 characters, which were awesome. And so, but that's also a game that's a 4-player game. So, but I mean, they give you a balance of old and new characters, and it was fun.
Does anybody know who Sean Bean is? He was in GoldenEye. He should play Liquid Snake.
He's too old. But he would, if Sean Bean played, it would fit. You know why?
Why?
Okay, I'm about to ruin every single movie Sean Bean has ever been in, including TV shows. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
He always dies. Like, that's a joke. Sean Bean dies in everything.
Well, maybe that's his acting talent.
Yes. But I mean, he gets cast in these roles where he dies.
Did he die in Silent Hill?
I don't know. I don't think he did, actually.
No. I don't think he did. That counted sure. He dies in everything. He didn't die in that.
I'm being satirical. You know what I mean? I mean, he's noted for, I could name role after role after role where he dies. Because he dies in more, he's just an actor who happens to get a lot of roles where he dies.
He's the Kenny of real life.
But he's a really, really good actor. But again, I think he's too old to be Liquid. If he was not too old, he looks just like Liquid. But it depends on who they cast. Like, they could make him work. And I have not seen Resident Evil or Silent Hill 2, so I don't know if he dies in that.
Loud.
What's loud?
Someone's volume just went way up a minute ago. Mine.
Different cast choices.
So what's the opinion of the Ground Zero, the basic Metal Gear demo?
Haven't played it. Didn't spend money on that.
Is it, Phantom Pain when it says, is he going to get a bundle with it?
I don't know if it's a bundle, but when I bought Ground Zeroes for PS3, that basically had a voucher there that says, put this code in. When Phantom Pain comes out, you'll have this list of DLC extras, which I did. So
I don't like paying $30 for a demo.
Well, then you would really not like it if you had to pay $60 for a demo.
Well, I don't, because it's not $60. I know that much.
I know. I'm just saying. If it was $60, there'd be a reason to be pissed. I mean, $30. Well, I'm saying that's about mid for me. If it was $20, fine. But $30, that's kind of barely making there to saying it's not cool.
All right.
For me, it's a little pricey, the content you get. Now we're having Echo.
Yep, Echo is right there.
Where's the Echo coming from?
Is it Chris?
No, it's not Chris, I don't think. I don't know. I think
It might have been me. I just got back and unmuted my mic. But
okay.
I turned my speakers down if that's better. I can't find my headphones. Sorry.
Okay. So what's next?
I just, you know what? I'd love to see Foxhound in live action, man. It'd be so sick. Sniper Wolf.
So, does anybody have any other comments on Metal Gear Solid?
No, I'm just looking forward to. I'd love to see Foxhound in live action, man.
Well, in terms of the story, the thing that had me puzzled was I don't know if this is gonna be a spoiler. It probably is. The Fox die. Can that be discussed here or no?
What Fox guy?
Fox die. It was a key point in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, you can talk about that.
Yeah.
I beat Metal Gear Solid 1. I've never beaten any of the games, so you're gonna... No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
It's like, well, in the game, what was her name?
Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi. She basically confessed that she had this disease created, and she was seeking revenge. And we're led to believe that Solid Snake is in danger. That he could be killed. Yet Liquid Snake is the one that dies from it. Like, why didn't... was there something inside of Snake that prevented him from getting killed? Why did it target Liquid?
Well, it explains it.
They explain that in MGS4.
Yes, that's explained.
Yeah.
Don't explain it, just say it has been explained.
Okay,
good. I thought ruin something, but yes, there are explanations for that.
Okay. A reason to replay 4 again. I'm rusty on that game.
Yeah, beat that game.
Have you completed that game on the hardest difficulty?
Oh, no. I've never played it on hard difficulty.
My friend completed on the hardest difficulty when he took him out.
I played it on the. I believe I was playing it on the hardest difficulty, and I got to one of the. I believe I got to the chapter right before the last one and couldn't beat the boss. And then my PS4 got stolen. I was never able to beat it.
Your PS4 got stolen?
PS3, sorry.
Oh, PS3?
Yeah. It was ages ago. Not the one I currently have. No, I had two.
Okay.
Now, technically it broke and then got stolen, but believe it or not, this is a misconception. The PS3 I had was worth money, and I could have probably traded it for a working one, and I was going to trade it for a working system. Now that might seem stupid. I was going to trade a broken system for a working one, but I had a backwards compatible one, and that was valuable, and I would have traded it for a most likely a slim version. Because there are people that know how to fix them, and it's valuable to them was not valuable to me.
Oh.
So I could have at least gotten $100 for it. For a broken system. Probably 150. Or a PS3 that worked, most likely. Because if you just...
I was going to say, shit, I forgot now. I forgot what I was going to say now. I just had it, and he just slipped out of my mind.
Whoops.
This is
Chris.
This is gonna bug me a bit now.
and then when the podcast is over, you can remember going, "Oh no, I remember."
Yeah, that would piss me off.
Think, Chris. Think.
Yes, that's about Phantom
Your audio is a bit off, Chris.
Can you hear me?
No. Yeah.
Speculation on Phantom Pain. Do you know what? I think Eloy is liquid. It makes sense because you know Solid Snake's Solid Snake's real name is David, isn't it? Because David and Eli are brothers in the Bible. Did you hear me, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think Eli is liquid then? Because there's loads of hints for it. Even his the necklace, the dog necklace. It refers that in MGS1, saying, we don't kill foxes, we kill jackals.
Are you talking about that little kid?
Yeah, Eli. Yeah, he's the right age for liquid because at that time he's about 12, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, just by looking at him with his hair streaked back, I'm thinking that's liquid right there.
The two biggest hints is the jackal necklaces because he references that in Metal Gear Solid 1 to Grey Fox. But he has that fight with Metal Gear Rex, sorry. And the other one is Eli and the David reference are brothers in the Bible. So, because Solid Snake's real name is David, and I'm going to guess that Liquid's real name is Eli.
Yeah, I always thought Solid Snake was named David because isn't that the name of the voice actor?
Yeah, David Hayter, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was more the reason why they did that.
But he's talking about something, else that to where it could be to something that they figured out later on.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the initial reason, but that doesn't mean that they can't give hints to it, for future.
Well, yeah, I guess they could make it David and then build off of it from there.
Yes.
But what do you think of that, Robert? That Eli... Because Eli and David are brothers in the Bible. It would make sense, wouldn't it?
Well, I'd say it makes sense, but I guess I don't want to try to think too deeply on a small detail.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there's...
And the people in the Bible have like 1 billion brothers, so...
And you got jackal necklaces as well. You got the jackal necklace as well from MGS 1 as well. So that's one of the biggest hints. So. I hope at the end of Phantom Pain you see Outer Haven and.
Yep. So, any final thoughts?
Any speculation on if David Hayter will actually be in Phantom Pain, like at some point, like maybe near the end, and be a young Solid Snake?
I think he will, but I think he will reprise his role in the remake of Metal Gear. But yeah, I think he's in it at some point, but we don't know because there was that thing with there was a similar story with the Arkham games where that turned out to be another game entirely, and that could be the case too. Because I've heard David Hayter did some voice work, but we'll have to wait and see.
How old is Solid Snake in the original Metal Gear? Is he like in his 20s?
I think he is. Because
the original Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid?
The original Metal Gear.
Yeah, he is, because at Metal Gear Solid 1, he's 25.
Metal Gear Solid 1, he's 25?
I think.
He's in his 30s, isn't he?
Pretty sure he's 35.
Okay, let me see.
Because Metal Gear Solid based in the early 2000s.
Well, Metal Gear Solid is based in 2005. Metal Gear Solid 2 is 2007, and then fast forward to 2009. Metal Gear Solid 4 is 2014.
Yeah. Is Metal Gear Rising even canon?
Yeah, well, it is, but it's set a few years after
MGS4.
MGS4.
Have you played Rising,
No.
Mark? Have you played Rising, Robert? Robert, you know?
Yeah, I'm here.
I says, have you played Metal Gear Solid? Not Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Rising. It was gonna be Metal Gear Solid with the original thing.
Yes or no, or?
Sorry, it's a little hard to hear you. What was that? Are you asking if I played that?
Sorry, this was a bit awkward. I said basically, have you played Metal Gear Rising?
33.
Okay. 33 and when?
MGS1.
And Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Have you played Metal Gear Rising, Robert?
I haven't played it yet, no. If you wanted to talk about, what happened in the game, I wouldn't be offended.
I don't even know.
And he's 23 in Metal Gear.
Yeah. So 10 years apart.
Yeah, exactly 10 years apart.
Yeah. So I don't even know if.
Which he would be, if he's in Metal Gear Solid 5, he'd be 14. Or, wait, no.
I thought Eloy's about 12. Yeah, I was saying Eloy's about 12, yeah, so...
He'd be 12 years old. Sorry, I did the math wrong in my head. He'd be 12 years old.
What year is Phantom Pain? Is it 84?
84,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm going to make a cameo somewhere in that game.
If that's the case, then I would have a cameo as a 5-year-old there.
No, it's the year of my birth. Of course I have to have a cameo.
A little baby? course, Chris wouldn't have a cameo since he wasn't even born at that time.
I wasn't. I was in a test tube, but I was just released in '92. Like selling Dragon Ball Z. It was like that. Mark was like Dr. Giro, who just released me. Aren't you Marky Dr. Giro, innit? Did you hear what I just says, Mark?
No, sorry.
I says basically, Daniel was saying, Chris wasn't even born in '84, I was born in '92, and I says, Sally, the Dragon Ball Z, I was released as a test tube in '92, and Mark was Dr. Giro.
The secret's out.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to... I wonder who's Goku then, Daniel? Daniel's got to stop.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop Mark.
Well, you can't stop me, so I win.
No.
And the reason I've not played Metal Gear Rising and don't plan to is because I hate what they did with that game.
What do you hate about it?
It's good, man.
I hate the whole concept of it was supposed to be a prequel. It doesn't make any sense at all being a sequel. It makes no sense at all, but I can't explain why it makes no sense because you have to play Metal Gear Solid 4, and yeah, I'm not going to ruin it, but it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Sorry, that's it.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, you're making it sound like that they could never make a prequel. I mean, they might decide to make...
No, it's not a prequel, it's a sequel. It doesn't make sense as a sequel.
No, I'm saying that... Just because they made it as a sequel doesn't mean they can't make another game as a prequel.
Okay. I can't explain why it doesn't make any sense because it's a spoiler I don't think Robert wants me to say.
It's okay if you want to say that. It seems like Revengeance isn't really like
Well, it's a tiny spoiler for Metal Gear Solid 4.
You go on and say it. Like I said, I'm aware what conversation I'm in. You could say little spoilers if you want, or whatever spoilers if you want.
Okay, so Raiden's plot point is finished in the game, and he ends the game at a completely different point to where he disarms, and like it doesn't make sense for him to go back in the armor. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as a character for him to go backwards.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Basically, it being a sequel, like he's stripped of the armor, and because the armor that he's wearing in Revengeance is the armor from Metal Gear Solid 4. And he strips it, and he basically starts to go on a different path, and the game feels like it's completely... The game feels, and I haven't played it, but I don't care to, it feels like a backtrack for that character. It feels like you've gotten that character in a position, and instead of doing the obvious thing and explaining how the character got to where he is, and starting off with a position, starting out a little bit before Metal Gear Solid 4, and explain where the character got to where he is, you're literally taking a character that starts at one place and ends at an area in a game, and you're saying, but we're going to take all that character development and we're going to throw it out the window so we can have a cool hack-em-slash game. I'm sorry, that insults me as a gamer.
Wow.
That's insulting.
The original game for it was going to be like, it was going to be set after Metal Gear Solid 2, where Raiden...
Yeah, that would have been a better idea. It should have been set between 2 and 4, and it should have explained how he got from that area, where what happened in between 2 to 4 to get him to where he is in the beginning of 4. Yeah. That would have been better.
Yeah, that's something I was going to do too.
And see, it kind of bugs me that they did the Is it just me, or does it bug you when they when a character has a character arc, and then to make a profit, they decide to scrap the entire character arc and say, no, we're just going to put the character right back where he was?
Well,
bug anybody else?
Well, the original game says it was going to be set after 2. What they was going to do with the original story, they was going to have like Raiden looking for Sonny, like getting captured by the Patriots and everything. Like I think it was like Area 51, something like that. And Raiden had to save her in the Patriots, so in Area 51. That would have been sick, to be honest. I would have enjoyed that storyline.
I'm actually looking it up right now.
Development problems.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. The original.
And I was trying to be as generic as I can, so hopefully I didn't ruin anything for you, Robert.
Like I said, I won't be offended if you spoil anything. I'm kind of asking.
Well, I'm trying to be as generic as I can. So if I have to say something, I can say it. But why not? But why expand upon something that if I don't need to?
Yeah. You were pretty clear, even though you were vague.
Yeah.
I know what you were saying. Like
the character starts at one area and ends at a different area, and it seems like Revengeance is where he began. It seems like exactly where he began in 4. I don't want to see where he began in 4 unless we're talking about before 4 to figure out where he got there. Like, that's interesting to me. Developing a character and then throwing that development out the window bugs me in any sense.
Because it would have been so sick as well. Like, after Metal Gear Solid 2, him learning the ways, like, how to use the ninja sword and everything, that would have been cool, man. They just fucked it up, man. But you know, the game engine wasn't that powerful enough or something, was it?
Well, what it says here, and I actually looked it up, and yes, I have beaten the game. There's positives and negatives with the game, but I'm trying to wrap my head around the whole concept. I mean, are you saying that he basically quit after 4?
Have you beaten 4?
Yes.
Okay. He starts out... Now, let me ask you this. Where he starts out in 4, is it similar to how he is in Revengeance?
Kind of.
Yeah. It starts out that way.
Okay, great, wonderful. At the end of 4, he's gotten past that. He's gotten to somewhere to where he's no longer going to be that same person. He's now a different person because he's been through life experiences that have changed him in such a way that he's not going to be the same person. And you just told me that in Revengeance, they basically said, well, we're just going to make him the same damn character. That's what I'm talking about. No. That is not good storytelling. That is bad storytelling.
No, if you're asking if it's the exact straightforward, I protect people, start to finish.
Does he start out, okay, this isn't spoiling anything because this is the beginning. In Revengeance, is he that character who's disconnected from the world, who can kill people on a dime because because something happened to him and he's disconnected from the world? Is that how he is in Revengeance?
Not at the start, but midway. It something
Okay,
clicked.
Great, wonderful. You just explained why I should never play Revengeance. Because Revengeance is taking a character backwards where I want to see a character go forwards. I don't want to see them retread that area because we've already been there. Explain, give me a new aspect to that character. There was a story, there was a way to have that game be a fine game and me play it. And they decided to do it in a way that made me not interested in it. That's what I'm saying, is that there was a way to go, but it doesn't matter because they're probably never going to make anything truly canon beyond 4. Anything that is absolutely necessary to understand the full story. They're probably never going to do anything beyond 4 anyway, so I don't have to worry. I'm never going to play that game. I might play it if I can get for budgetary and I need a game to play, but I have no interest in playing that. I still have other games I want to play, and I'm just not interested in it because I feel that they went the wrong route. I feel they made a mistake in making that game, and yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, so...
I like the game, but I haven't fully completed it yet, so... something different because didn't we have the ninja thing in VR training thing?
What, the stealth?
Yeah, we had Grey Fox. Like you could have if you could do a few VR missions, you can unlock Grey Fox as a ninja.
Well, yeah. Well, Revengeance pretty much has that. It has both the option of you can have it be hack and slash, or if you want to be more like Metal Gear Solid, you can be stealthy.
And that's fine, and I'm not criticizing you for liking the game. I'm saying that the story aspect of the game doesn't interest me because I feel that they've betrayed a character by making it.
A portion of it is a bit retarded, to be honest, because, he's completely changed after the ending of 4, so...
Yes, he is at a position in 4, and I feel that it betrays that character by doing that.
Maybe.
My only negative with the game, complaint, it's the final boss of the game.
Okay, don't talk about the final boss.
Yeah.
There are people here who have not played the game, and you don't need to talk about extremely spoiler stuff, even though I don't care. Could ruin that game for all I care. I'm just saying that, yeah.
I want to play Metal Gear Rising, though.
Revengeance.
Have you beaten it?
No, I haven't played it. I have got it, yeah. I just haven't completed it yet.
But if they ever did decide to make a game set between 2 and 4, then I'd be up to playing it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what I think it should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Is Robert still here?
I just haven't had much to say.
oh, that's fine.
I was going to say, do you want to still carry on and talk about something else?
Yeah, let's end this. So this was Goku Photo 7-1.
The Amazing CJB.
Man of Tomorrow 79.
And Robert.
Robert. Sorry.
Please leave a comment below. Tell us what you think. Tell us your thoughts on Metal Gear Solid. Who would you like to cast and whatever. And we'll see you next time, YouTube.